Oh, I'm a rant. What's up guys, Andrew here on my channel GearedInc, where I get to share what I'm passionate about with you. And my channel is PC Tech, Games, and Gear. Before we get into today's topic, just a quick update. For you guys who don't know, my last video, I lost a bunch of footage, so I'm having to go back and do a bunch of reworks on a bunch of videos of working like the T3500 upgrade build. I'm actually reviewing this Ryu 2400 AIO. It's in my system. I've got a few more tests, but that video should be out tomorrow. So thank you for all your patience, because this is GearedInc, meaning we should have more gear right on my channel. It's not just speculation ink, even though I do love to speculate. But today, I'm gonna go on a rant, so bear with me. So in the tech world, I wanna completely disclose, I am not a tech expert by any stretch of the imagination. Everything I know, I've learned either through firsthand experience, getting my hands on these products, or I've learned through research, many hours on the web, or through, honestly, YouTube channels that I respect and I know provide valuable information. I'm constantly trying to do better. I do my very best to try to release accurate information as best I can. Sometimes, I make mistakes and I own that. One of the things I'm planning on redoing is the whole using an Nvidia graphics card with a FreeSync monitor, because there was terminology and stuff in there that I don't think was very clear, and I accept the mistakes I make and I'm gonna do better. That being said, the websites or I should say YouTube channels I respect, Linus Tech Tips, Jay's 2 Cents, Kyle, Bitwit, Paul's Hardware, Gamers Nexus, Hardware Unboxed, to name a few, are, really the kind of the people I hold myself a standard to. I'm trying to be as accurate and provide the most value that I can, which is why when I cross articles like the one I'm about to rant on, I get a little bit steamed. So I'm not gonna try to slander anybody. I'm not, trying to say that what necessarily they're saying is completely false, but I am gonna say that it's incredibly biased and it's based in misinformation, quite honestly, from my perspective. So Forbes came out with an article claiming that the RTX 2070 is the best gaming graphics card for $500, which is just categorically false for a couple of reasons, which I'm gonna get into. In this article, they go over and espouse, basically the value, or, the value proposition of all these new technologies like RTX and DLSS, which actually is the only technology that I actually think, if you're gonna actually be buying an RTX GPU on the promise of future performance, DLSS is much more exciting to me than ray tracing. It's actually a reason that I will personally buy that GPU or an RTX GPU over ray tracing, because I think that there's actually way more value in terms of performance that you can get out of that technology, if that's the argument you're going to make. But in this article, it's very clear that the line about this is to paint the RTX GPUs in as positive light as possible, most likely because there's some type of financial interest that this, reviewer or this, this individual has to basically say what he's going to say. And what's interesting is in the article, which I'm going to link down below, they espouse all the different things and they do comparisons, but then they have a little link to their in-house reviewer, the guy who did the benchmarks. And so obviously I didn't want to just jump to conclusions, so I looked at the testing methodology, and holy crap, if an amateur like me can pick this thing apart, it is bad news. So this guy tested this system first off at only 1440p and 4K. That is grossly misrepresentative of what actual gamers play at, as a majority of gamers play at 1080p. So they're not even showing that part of what these GPUs are capable of. The second thing is the weirdness of the system he does it on, and the complete omission of what actually the tests are done with in terms of settings. So first off, he does this on a Threadripper on a 1950X. That's a 16 core unit, and obviously anybody who knows that you would probably want to enable gaming mode to limit the amount of cores you have, because there have been gaming performance issues. Thankfully, Nvidia came out with a driver that has improved the gaming performance of Threadripper, but it doesn't say if he did or not. Then he's using 32 gigs of RAM. We have no idea what speed this RAM is running at, and so we have no idea, obviously, because that would affect the gaming performance to a certain extent as well. And then it goes over kind of the other things in here. There's no mention if the GPUs were overclocked, if they were stock, if there's any comparison. So there's no transparency on this. It's very, very vague, and honestly, again, it's, in my opinion, to paint a picture for potential investors, and I believe there's some type of financial interest in this. And then he goes on to show the games, and some of the claims in here, like showing that certain titles are as much as 40 or 50% more with the RTX 2080 over, you know, different cards and the RTX 2080 Ti, which obviously, if anybody has been paying attention, there was a big controversy with a certain website that will remain nameless on, you know, saying what benchmarks are what. It's really bad. And so the whole point I want to rant about this is because of cryptocurrency, because it became so popular, there are a bunch of people right now who are doing reviews and kind of have their hand in what's been typically the gaming tech sphere that quite honestly have no business doing it. And it's articles like this that misrepresent the type of information that consumers are looking for, or investors for that matter, when buying certain things like computer components or investing in the companies themselves. When you don't give a clear picture and there's not enough valuable information so that you can actually form a constructive opinion because you have the whole picture, it's bad news, because anybody looking at this would just assume that the RTX 2080 stomps like the 1080 Ti all day. They'd also assume that the 2070 for the cost is the absolute best price, even though you can get used 1080 Ti's which outperform it in every way right now, used for less or around the same amount of money. I mean, it's really bonkers. And so when I saw this article again, it got my blood, you know, boiling a little bit. Right now more than ever, it is so important that people writing or presenting this information are as thorough and as accurate as they possibly can be, because people make purchasing decisions on what they see. And if that is where you're entering, your point of entry into this whole gaming sphere, that's a huge problem. So anyway, you guys, thanks for letting me rant on this whole thing. I'm gonna link all this stuff down below and you can check it out for yourself. It's bonkers, the testing methodology. It's so vague. And you know, if anything, it made me, I'm like, man, I'm really gonna try to be as good as I can be when I'm doing my own benchmarks and reviews, to be as transparent about everything as possible, because it is bad when this kind of stuff is just floating out there. And really, you know, if you didn't know any better, how could you know? So anyway, guys, if you like this video, go ahead and leave me a big thumbs up. But if you didn't, you can leave me a thumbs down. Remember to get subscribed and hit that like icon or like button, whatever, and hit the bell icon is what I meant to say, because YouTube's algorithm really sucks. And thanks to all my patrons, my people who use my Amazon affiliate link, and my Twitch subscribers. You guys make a big difference in a big way to me. Thank you so much for your support. As always, I'm gonna continue to make these videos whether you watch them or not, but I hope you do. I hope to see every single one of you next time here on GearedInc. That is a gross That is grossly misrepresentative of what actual gamers play at